So I have been doing at least 100 burpees almost every single day for the past 4 months.
Find your pace.
To me, it's less about the actual act of doing the burpees and more about the physical and mental discipline of getting them done every day. Plus, the majority of days I've done them first thing in the morning, so it's starting my day off on that strong note. I'm actually in a group of men where this is one of our daily disciplines and commitments, and one of those men offhandedly made a comment about how he wanted to at some point do 1,000 burpees in a day. And so me, being the person who loves physical challenges and loves to push people, said, hey, why don't we do it this coming week? What happened next is something I will remember for the rest of my life. And in this video, I'm going to recap it. Let's get into it. All right, so before we dive into it, quick introduction. My name is Skylar Deem. I'm the founder of Reach Fat Loss and Fitness. Our goal is to help you lose fat, build muscle, and become the healthiest and happiest version of you. After studying nutrition and exercise and sleep and all of health for over 10 years, I've come up with what I believe to be the most effective strategy to becoming more disciplined, more confident, and of course, healthier and happier. I run a coaching program. We help people lose weight. We get awesome results like the ones that you can see here. But whether or not you join my program, my goal is to help get you in the best shape of your life. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. So 1,000 burpees. So my buddy Derek, another buddy Scott, and myself agreed to do this on a Wednesday afternoon. I booked out my calendar and I also invited a former client of mine who is now an employee of mine. Amy's absolutely crushing it, and I actually extended the invite for her to join. And it's funny because when I asked her to do it, I said, don't feel pressure to join, don't feel pressure to do the full 1,000, but if you just want to join for a couple of hours and bust some burpees out, I would love to have you. And she accepted, and she went into it with the mentality of, well, I'll just see how my body feels, see how many I can do, and I'll share in a moment what happened with that. So when the day was decided, of course, first things first was preparation. It's great to do mental challenges and to push yourself physically, but the more prepared you can be entering them, especially if they're very, very difficult and taxing on the body, the more enjoyable of a day it's gonna be. So the night before I carb loaded, just had a bunch of carbs, healthy carbs, mostly fruits, but I wanted to just get that level up so I was ready to go, ready to execute, ready to perform. Woke up that day and we started at around 10 a.m. my time, hopped on a Zoom call with Derek and Scott and was communicating with Amy throughout the day through a messenger app. During the burpees, what I had access to was a bunch of water. I actually used my Camelback, so all it took was just taking the spout to my mouth instead of lifting up my heavy glass jug. I included liquid IV, which is not only supplying me with electrolytes, but also sugar and glucose to keep me going. And then I topped it off with some honey for some more glucose, more sugar to allow me to have that energy to keep going. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they get into endurance training, is they're not properly fueling their body with carbs and sugar and electrolytes. A breakdown of this execution. So my approach to burpees in the past has been setting a timer, picking a rep number, and every minute on the minute doing those number of reps. So if I choose 7 reps and it takes me about 20 seconds to do those 7 reps, then I get the 40 seconds after that to rest until the next minute comes. We went into this with the idea that we were going to pace ourselves and we want to be smart. I typically do 7, 8, or 9 reps every minute on the minute till I hit my 100 to 200 burpees. So to be smart, because I really wanted to take my time with this, we started with 5 reps. We started the day of burpees with 100 minutes of 5 reps. That's a total of 500 reps. And when we got to the 100-minute mark, which is an hour and 40 minutes, all the guys agreed that we had more in our tank and we wanted to up it. So we decided to go to 6 on the minute. We did this for another 45 minutes before realizing we had more in our tank. I was tired, I was sweating, I was basically consistently out of breath with my heart rate up, but being pushed by these savages, having Amy on the other end keeping up with us as well, I knew we had more in us. For the next 10 minutes, we did 7 reps every minute on the minute. And it was only 10 minutes because at that point, we realized we had more in us. It was at this point where we had only 160 reps left. My arms were tired. I started feeling tennis elbow in my forearm. My lungs were burning. My body felt heavy, but I knew I had more in me. So we collectively agreed that for the last 20 minutes, we were gonna do 8 reps every minute on the minute. I don't know what it was. I was just extremely present of just focusing on those next few reps. I didn't think about how many minutes I had to go. I wasn't ready for it to be over and looking forward to it. I was staying as present as possible and focusing on 1 rep at a time. With only a few minutes left, I knew I wanted to push to my fly. I think what blew me away the most here was that Amy was on the other end keeping up rep for rep. Now I'm a 29-year-old man who's super fit, super in shape, and I was just pushing. And so the thought of Amy on the other end crushing it pushed me even harder. And with only a few minutes left, I knew we had to do more than 1,000. So to wrap it up, I made the decision that when we hit 1,000 reps, we were going to do 5 more sets of 10 reps every minute on the minute to finish it off. I had to dig so deep for these, but knowing I had the guys on the other end and had Amy on the other end as well kept me digging deep and kept me going. And when we hit 1,050 reps, I knew we had to hit 1 more set of 10 just to finish strong. We hit the 1,000 mark with a grand total of 3 hours of burpees every single minute on the minute, and then we were able to extend it another 6 minutes for a grand total of 1,060 burpees. At this point, I was so proud of myself myself, so proud of the guys on the other end, so proud of Amy, and I actually was able to FaceTime in with her to get her for her last set of 10. This was an absolutely ridiculously wild experience. I'm so proud of myself for doing it. I'm excited to do it again. And as far as what I learned, number one, the mind makes the biggest difference. There's days where I'm doing 100 and I'm just looking at the clock and ready for it to be over, but because I knew I was doing 1,000, I strapped myself in. I didn't think about how much longer I had to go. I just focused on one rep at a time. This is one of the best strategies I use when I do longer hikes, when I do cold plunges, when I do anything that takes a lot of mental grit, is I don't think about how much further I have to go. All I think about is making it through the present moment. Next thing I learned, support is everything. Who knows what my day would have been like if it was just me? Having those guys on the other end and Amy as well kept me focused, kept me locked in, kept me pushing. And honestly, there were moments where hearing the guys on the other end and getting Amy's text made me even more motivated to keep going. And then the third thing, which I touched on, is fueling is so important. Could I have gritted it out and just had water and avoided the electrolytes and the glucose? I'm sure I could have, but I most likely would have cramped. I most likely wouldn't have had the energy to do those reps at the end of the day, and it definitely would not have been the same experience. That was my 1,000 burpees. I am excited to be continuing to do more challenges. I typically document a lot better, but this was something where I was just so in the moment, so focused on getting these reps done that I didn't document the entire process. But I will be documenting more challenges in the future, so if you are looking to watch those, make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you're looking for fat loss help, check out the beginner's fasting guide in the description. And of course, as always, make sure to eat smart, move more, sleep deep, and be grateful for this moment. I'll see you in the next video.